it becomes a disingenuous conversation where we can't really honestly explain, like, that's disgusting. But it also speaks to like kind of how male nature is. Like, I'm not advocating for, I'm saying that's a reality though. And it ain't one type of man, it ain't just black men, it wasn't just white men, it wasn't Asian. It was all different types of men.
At this point, with you all using this as an excuse, is weaponized incompetence. You are giving in to something that you know is true. So instead of setting up a system, something that you can do to help you stay out of stupid ass situations, you would rather be like, I mean, it's biology.
It's crazy how we try to, like, I understand now, I guess, when the people picking up new talking points and they want to like big up women, but there's nothing that can be said to make women seem more logical about anything. Women are more selective sexually because they can be
just
the same way that men are more.
That makes me more logical. Thank you.
Relationships too. So men will fuck hoes. We don't marry hoes. We don't marry hoes. Women will fuck niggas that they wouldn't want to marry on a higher clip than men will, because again, we are the ones who control access to marriage. So women trying to use the one thing that they leverage to say,
and
oh, you know
still
what?
Marry hoes.
We're more. Well, let's okay. So let's say that was true.
You
Ms.
still
Pearl.
marry hoes. What are we talking about?
So let's say you know what hoes do that good women also do. Y'all fuck without being in relationships. So I will say this,
but they don't hold you down, and that's the one that's right now. That's not a good woman, and that's what y'all get. What are we talking about?
And that's hoe behavior. So if he who was without sin cast the first stone. So since now we're talking about being logical, let's also talk about being honest. One thing men are up here is honest. It's always a woman who's trying to tell us that we're wrong about how things go for us. We're wrong because of how we feel, as if
wrong.
As if they've ever been a man, or for the majority of them don't have one. So they don't even get to learn vicariously about how men are. They don't get to wake up day to day dealing with a nigga. They don't get to come home, go to work, and have somebody at home wait for them so they can see them in all these different facets. Or they don't have someone who was honest enough for them to even tell them, like, hey, listen, I'm a dude. Sometimes, you know what I'm saying, I love you, but I see a bitch with a fat ass. I think about it sometimes. They don't have men to have these conversations with, so all they can talk from is what they think about what men do, instead of listening to the ones that actually have the conversation, who deal with it every day.
Pearl, I wanted to rebuttal your point about not touching the stove. I think that's like you just get equipment. That's how that works. Like, we still got to cook, right? You know, we still got to use the stove. We just figure out how to do it better safely. It's a lot of things we like to do safely. You know, driving is a little bit, can be dangerous. Flying a plane can be dangerous. That's how we do it safely. Put on a seatbelt, right? You know, ride a motorcycle. You just got to do it the right way. Ain't no point in like staying. You don't got to stay all away from it. Just do it safely.
I think sex for women is like marriage for men. I think that's the only equivalent.
You tried it, well, it's not gonna work. I stand on what I said. I'm sorry, True.
But it's a fact.
I think that's the only equivalent we can use that maybe it'll make more sense, because it's almost a pointless argument to be different biologically and try to get y'all to understand what Trev has expressed, what Marcus has expressed, what myself. It is just vastly different. But just like men don't go out marrying every girl he interacts with, it's the same with you guys. Y'all covet the exchange of sex. It is that valuable, or at least it should be, right? It's the same equivalent for us on a status level. We don't marry every damn woman. It's the same equivalent. So I don't know if you can disassociate your emotions. If you can put it in that framework, I think it's easier to digest, because it would be foolish for a man to every woman he meet to get down on one knee and make that woman his wife. Y'all treat sex the same way. That's the selective part that Willie is trying to, convey. And I don't know why it's a disconnect. It's almost like you guys don't grasp that we're vastly different. It's
because they're not logical. They're emotional. Anybody logical people would understand what we just said and be like, well, damn, the logic is sound, but the emotion, like, it's kind of like this. When you get a woman emotional, like her amygdala, like, calcifies, and any type of shit you say that she don't like or doesn't identify with what she's talking about is combative and it's offensive. So it's not as if we're saying something that logical women wouldn't understand. Like, that's not what we're saying. Even I would say, logical gay dudes still get this. But again, the common denominator between that logic is the fact that it's men.
So
Pearl's trying to make us drive in minivans for the rest of our lives. We want Ferraris, Pearl.
What you say?
You trying to make us drive minivans for the rest of our lives? We want
make
Ferraris.
you drive in a minivan for the rest of your life.
That's what you want us to drive minivans because they're the safest. But no, we want a Ferrari. We just gonna learn how to drive them right.
But y'all can't drive one. That's the whole point of this conversation.
Okay. So you want something that's fast and unsafe, and here I am being logical, wanting you to be safe. But I'm not logical at all. You gonna get the Ferrari? Strap up, boo. No, you got it. You got it. Get that Ferrari. You got it, boo.
He don't wear his seatbelt. That's the problem. We just trying to tell him how to drive it safely.
Miss Pearl, we tried to have this conversation for 4 or 5 years, longer than that, right? And the thing that it was this post I ran across that kind of explained it the best way I've seen it explained, and it was unintentionally. It was a transitioning female to male, right, or to appear as a man, and they had them on testosterone hormones and all this stuff. What she described was that the way her body changed sexually and the desire for sex was one of the most annoying and worst things she felt because she no longer could operate. She was obsessed with sex and she would try and relieve herself multiple times a day. We exist at a testosterone level that you don't understand unless you get hit with a dosage of something that puts you in that mind. And once you experience it, you're like, I understand why they operate like that from this point forward. We can see a small, you can look on comment sections, right, of a woman, just any woman doing anything. If she's shapely, as soon as you open that comment section, the first thing you're gonna see is, oh, man of culture, we meet here. And then she could be selling tires. She could be trying to sell dishwashing gloves. She could be trying to do anything under the sun. As soon as men see a shapely woman or a woman that they think is attractive, everything goes out the window and it's just a conversation about how beautiful or how whatever, how that make men feel. If a woman walk past, men immediately turn it. We are just biologically wired differently when it comes to this. Now, there could be women that have extremely high sex drives and that feel like, I want to have sex a lot too. It's completely different than Lily Phillips is probably the best example of really how this play out. That it's a woman who I think she had 1,000 men line up to have sex with her.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's disgusting when you think about it. That's extremely disgusting. You going after 99, 100, 200, 400, 500, 700, 800, 900, 999 men stick their penis in this woman, and the man still stuck wait outside to do it to her. We are just different. And
that ain't nasty.
when we
That's
try to
logical.
squash that and pretend men are just the exact same as women and all that, it kind of it becomes a disingenuous conversation where we can't really honestly explain that's disgusting. But it also speaks to kind of how male nature is. I'm not advocating for, I'm saying that's a reality though. And it ain't one type of man, it ain't just black men, it wasn't just white men, it wasn't Asian. It was all different types of men. It was men that ski mask to hide they was trying to hide who they are so they can go and just go. We are just vastly different. And if we can't acknowledge that, we can't have real conversation. You're supposed to be asleep.
So let me ask. So what's the male version of a hyena? Let's just gonna call y'all. What can we call y'all?
So hold on.
What's the male version of a hyena? Because I know every man on the planet wasn't trying to hear her. Some men just.
Before we go ahead, we gotta get Becky and Bo in there real quick. They ain't get a chance to really go ahead. I know you was trying to jump in. Go ahead.
I just be trying, but let me start by saying I completely understand what you all are saying biologically. I am smart enough to understand that testosterone affects a man's sex drive much more than a woman. I know that. Great, good. But what this is, at this point, with you all using this as an excuse, is weaponized incompetence. You are giving in to something that you know is true. So instead of setting up a system something that you can do to help you stay out of stupid ass situations, you would rather be like, I mean, it's biology, because we be wanting it 50 times a day, and if a woman giving it up, I'm gonna take it. Okay. You can get with a woman, right, that wants to have sex with you, and you can be in a relationship with her. Bam, you have sex. Or you can do something else. I get it. I get that it may be hard. There are a lot of nymphomaniac women out there that know your pain, and they still somehow, some way learn how to work with it. Because I know someone that's a nymphomaniac. It is not me. But you know what she did? She got married. And she fucked on that man until the day he died. So I'm just like,
you're saying what we just said. Miss Pearl was saying cold turkey, don't put on a hazmat, don't put things in place, just stay away, right? We saying
you can also do that, because there are men that do that as well. There are my ex-husband is the one that came to me and was like, I'm not having sex until I get married. And I'm like, well, okay. How is it that some men can do this, but y'all are like, I mean, it's biology. I'm just gonna stick my dick wherever it goes. Right?